Here we have some word problems with special right triangles, our 30, 60, 90 case. We do have the rules down below. That way we can refer back to them when we need them. Starting off, we're going to find the area of a trapezoid. Um, First things first, I've got to find some parts, okay? There is the area of a trapezoid formula, but we can do it the long way as well. Ultimately, I need to figure out some of these pieces. In order to do that, I'm going to start with this triangle here on the left side. Okay, I already know that the two bases are 6 and 14. What I can do here to actually split these up is I can cut this base into some equal pieces because I do know that these angles are 60, okay, which means that they're going to be ending up meeting at the same spot. Okay, if we have this 14 here, we can subtract. We know that this middle piece is going to be 6, okay, and then 14 minus 6 is going to be 8. So if we divide that by 2, we get 4 and 4, okay? So if I know that this base is 4, it's across from 30, okay, let me actually use a little bit. Yeah, it's across from 30, and we'll do that over here as well. That makes this down here our short leg, our long leg, and our hypotenuse over here. Same thing over here, long leg, short leg, hypotenuse. I'll go ahead and move that over. Pardon me for all of this set up here, but it's going to help me out here in a second. So if I know that 30 is across from 4, which makes 4 my short leg, okay, I'm going to go ahead and label that right now. Short leg equals 4 centimeters, okay. My long leg, if I'm given my short leg, I'm going to multiply by root 3 to get my long leg and multiply by 2 to get my hypotenuse. So 4 times 2 equals 8 centimeters. And then my long leg, 4 root 3, which would be totally fine, or 4 root 3, 6.928. Okay, either of those would be acceptable for our long leg. So let's go on ahead and get those pieces labeled. My hypotenuse we said was 8. 8 over here, and then my long leg is 4 root 3, 4 root 3. So I can do a couple different things. If I know that this piece is 4, this piece is 4, we've got 6 going across right here, okay? I'm trying to find the area. I can piece a couple different areas together. I've got two triangles. Let's start there. Two triangles. Area of my triangle equals 1/2 base, which is 4, times my height, which is 4 root 3. And if I work this down, I end up with 4 times 4, so that's 1/2 16 root 3, which makes this 8 root 3 for that area, okay? But I do have two of them, okay? So I would end up multiplying to get 16 root 3, and that covers both of my triangle pieces, okay? And then I have the area of, we'll do this in red, the area of my rectangle, which is 6 times 4 root 3. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 root 3. I'm not sure where that came from. Root 3. And all I would do is add these two areas up. So 16 plus 24 equals, so my total, if I add these two up, is 40 root 3. 40 square root 3. It would also equal 69.282, and that would be centimeters squared. Okay. The other way I could do it, if I know my area of a trapezoid formula, okay, so my trapezoid formula says 1 half times my height, base 1 plus base 2. 1 half, my height is 4 root 3 times base 1, which is 6, plus 14 is my other base. So essentially what I'm doing here, and I will go on ahead and slide this up a little bit, just give us a little bit more room. I'll do the same here. Again, to give myself a little bit more room. So 1 half of 4, so that's 2 root 3. That covers that right there. Times 6 plus 14 is 20, which still gives us 40 root 3, or 69.282 cm squared. Either way we go about doing it, okay, we're going to end up with that 40 root 3. But by using my 30, 60, 90 rules, I was able to get those lengths pretty quickly. Now I've just got to get comfortable with dealing with square roots and adding and multiplying. And so if you have questions about those specific rules, we can discuss that further in class. Okay, our next question, a shipping dock has a mobile ramp that is used to help load and unload cargo from trucks. The ramp is 126 inches long. We see that in the picture. What is the length, or what is the height, h, and the length of the base of the ramp? So we've got a lot of this already labeled. We know that 126 is going to be our hypotenuse, okay, which makes h our short leg, and then the base is our long leg. If we're given the hypotenuse, we divide by 2 to get my short leg. So to find h, that's going to equal 126 divided by 2, which equals 63. So that's 63 inches. Okay, and then once I have my short leg, in order to find my long leg, I just multiply that by root 3. So my base equals 63 times root 3 inches, or 63 root 3 would be 109.119 inches. Either one of those would be acceptable. That one's not too hard. Once we figure out, once we get comfortable with leaving square root 3 in our answer, that's going to help this process tremendously. And ultimately, as long as we follow the rules, okay, shouldn't be too terribly difficult. You've just got to be able to label and understand the short leg is always going to be across from my 30, okay, and then our long leg is always going to be across from our 60, and our hypotenuse, I should actually do that in gray since that's the color that we used, and our hypotenuse is always going to be across from our right angle, okay? As long as we have that stuff down, we should be just fine. Roof trusses often use right angles to make a flimsy 2x4 more rigid to hold up with the weight of the roof. If a house is 42 feet wide, so we're representing that right here, 42 feet wide, okay, and the roof is an isosceles triangle with base angles of 30. So that means we have 30 degrees down here, 30 degrees down here. This is congruent to this. We'll go on ahead and make that a little bit easier to see. How far is it from the bottom edge of the roof to its peak? So we are looking from the bottom edge of the roof to its peak, which will be the same on both sides, okay? Which is helpful information. So if I know that I'm going 42, across, then that means in an isosceles triangle, I'm going 21 feet to the middle, right here, okay? And I am looking for my hypotenuse, okay? The thing I'm looking for is my hypotenuse. My short leg is going to be all the way over here. My long leg, because this is going to end up being 60, is 21. So when I'm given my long leg, I either divide by root 3 or multiply by root 3 over 3 to get my short leg. So I need to find my short leg in order to find my hypotenuse. Because my long leg is a whole number, okay, I don't want to divide by root 3. I want to take 21 and multiply by root 3 over 3. That's going to be a lot easier. It's essentially, I'm just skipping the step of rationalization, getting the radical out of the denominator. That's some stuff that we don't need to talk about right now. However, it does allow us to get to this step. So now we can divide 21 by 3. So my short leg is going to equal 7, because 21 divided by 3 is 7, root 3. And when I have my short leg, I can use that information to find my hypotenuse, because all I do with my short leg to find my hypotenuse is multiply by 2. So my hypotenuse equals 7 root 3 times 2, which equals 14 root 3, which would be an acceptable answer, 14 root 3 feet. However, that doesn't make a lot of sense. We don't have a 14 root 3 on our ruler, so we would evaluate, and we will simplify, or we will round to 3 decimal places, 24.249 feet. And our final question, okay, an equilateral triangle has side lengths of 14. Okay, so equilateral means all these are the same. So that's 14, that's 14, that's 14. And this 14 goes all the way from here to here. Find the lengths of the altitude. The altitude is going to be right here. The altitude meets the vertex of a triangle and the base at a right angle. We show that right there. Because it's equilateral, it's actually going to split this bottom section in half. So we have 7 over here and 7 over here. Okay, because it's equilateral, I also know that each one of these angles is 60 degrees, which means this is going to be cut into 2 equal pieces at 30 degrees apiece, which helps me out tremendously because now I know that 7 is my short leg because it's across from 30. 60 is across from my altitude, which makes my altitude my long leg. And my hypotenuse is going to be 14. And I can use all that information to help me out. If I am looking for the altitude, I know my short leg. I'm given my short leg, so I need to multiply it by root 3. So my long leg equals my short leg, which is 7, times root 3. So my answer is simply 7 root 3 centimeters, or, because we don't have that on our ruler again, 7 root 3, 12.124 centimeters. And those are our word problems.